And so the season began.
He's now come to Sheffield United and in his first game scored 2 goals.
His share of penalties in the European Championships. Green through here. Woods makes the save. But here's Dane Whitehouse. It's 1-0 to Sheffield United.
Hello and welcome back to the Red Cassette. Now we are here with the Adidas away kits roundup and rating show thing that I'm doing. If you haven't watched the home version of this video already, do go and watch that. Not now, watch this video first. So let's jump straight into it with the 2014-15 away shirt. Now this, again, bit of context, League One. Lost in the playoffs to Swindon. Actually, I think not in this shirt, in a different shirt, in the third shirt, which we'll get onto in a minute. The manager was, of course, Nigel Clough. And the players that this shirt remind me of, people like Jay McEverley and Jamie Murphy. So, what do I like about this shirt? Well, spoiler alert, not a lot. I like the white bit on the bottom of the V-neck. And that's about it. So, what do I dislike? Well, I'm not keen on black kits in general. One of the criteria I'm going to use to judge the away kits is it a Sheffield United away kit colour? And those are, for if you're wondering, a fluorescent colour, usually yellow or like a lime green, or is it just yellow, or is it white? This is black. Not so sure whether I'm keen on that. I think that they often look like referees if you wear black. Yeah, not a massive fan. The sponsor's absolutely massive, and I think detracts from it. I've said about John Holland sales, not a massive fan of them as a sponsor. Nothing against the company, just think the logo looks a bit pants, or did, 7 years ago. And I also hate the sleeve design. I think it looks terrible. Why is there white bits on it? What's that all about? Not good. Not a good shirt. Rating overall, 1 out of 5. Shocker from Adidas. Sort yourselves. But luckily, they did with the next shirt. So again, we're here with another shirt that I don't own, hence why I'm not wearing it. This one, 14-15, third kit. This is the shirt that we actually lost in the playoff semi-finals to Swindon. Sort of players that this reminds me of: Ryan Flynn, Chris Basham, of course, who's still here now. And this is going to be a bit weird. Wes Fotheringham. You may be thinking, why are you thinking of him? Well, he was in the goal in the Swindon playoff semi-final. He was playing for Swindon and he let 5 goals in. And I don't know why this shirt just kind of makes me think of Wes Fotheringham. Obviously never played in it. Only joined the Blades in 2020. So yeah, not really gonna encounter him. So what do I like about this shirt? Well, I think the colour yellow's a good Sheffield United away kit colour. We've not had a yellow kit, I think, since. So maybe we're due for a new one. I really like the zigzag across. I like how the Adidas logo is inside the zigzag, and I like how the Sheffield United logo is outside of it. I really like the fact that the stripes down the sleeves carry on a little bit, which was very sort of 2014. I think it harks back to those really old Adidas kits where the stripes could go all the way down the sleeves. I think that looks really cool. My main dislike is who the hell are Topspring? They weren't on the home kit, they weren't on the away kit, they were only on the third, and they were on the third the season before the other yellow kit we had, which we beat Fulham in, which was an awful kit. Both of those Macron kits were woeful. But yeah, who's Topspring? That's the only real gripe I can come up with, and I've rated this shirt 4 out of 5. I think it's very good. A vast departure from the away kit for that season. The third kit, very, very good. So, next up, it's that season again. It's the 15-16 away shirt. League One, 11th place finish. Awful. Shocking. Under Nigel Atkins. I don't think we ever won in this shirt. The players it reminds me of, Connor Salmon again. But Shea Adams, I'm fairly sure he played in this shirt, and I think, yeah, probably did alright. Not a lot of memories really of this shirt. I think that season again, you try and put it to the back of your mind. Now, the shirt I actually really like. I have worn this many a time on holiday. I think it's lovely. What do I like about it? Love the colour. Again, it's fluorescent green as opposed to lime green. But I think it really works. I think it's a lovely, lovely shirt. I think the sponsor looks good. I know I've often slated this John Holland sponsor, but I think on this shirt it really works. I think it looks quite classy actually on this shirt. But what I really like is the diagonal like shimmers in this shirt. I think they look really, really cool, really classy. What do I dislike? Well, I can only really think of one thing to dislike about this shirt, and it is the memories of that season. Awful, awful season. And also the sponsor on the back is in blue and white, which is bad. Don't do that again, Sheffield United. But overall, rating this shirt, 4 out of 5. Lovely, lovely shirt. We should have carried it over a season. I think the memories of the season after would have been much, much cooler in this shirt. Well, if they could have been any cooler. But anyway, we'll get on to that now. So, as it turns out, we did actually carry that shirt in a form to this shirt, which is slightly different. The stripes are down the sleeves, and this is the only render I can find of it. I can't find any proper pictures of it. But yeah, this is also a 4 out of 5. So I'm back to wearing the grey shirt because, unfortunately, I don't own this one. It's the 16-17 away. This is the League One Champions season where we won the division on over 100 points. And this is the shirt we were actually promoted in at Northampton. So, a lot of good memories in this one. The players that it reminds me of, Billy Sharp, Paul Coots, Jack O'Connell. I don't know why. Those 3 players in particular really, really spring to mind when I think of this shirt. What do I like? I like the V-neck. I think that looks really good. I like the thin orange stripes. I'm not so keen on the orange and black overall, but I think the little pinstripes I think look quite cool. And I also, obviously really, really rate the memories in this shirt. So what do I dislike? The Alpha Rooms logo. It's the right size, but it just looks terrible. Why is it in blue and orange? Looks awful. And again, I hated the font. I thought it looked amateurish. And the lack of a capital A just riles me. And I'm not quite sure, as I said, about black and orange. I think it kind of works, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't keen on this kit when it came out, and I'm still not mega keen. I feel like the memories of that shirt are what gives it its specialness, if that makes sense. Overall, I'm rating this 3 out of 5. It's alright. Then next up, we're back in the Championship with this one. It's the 17-18 away shirt. It's purple. We finished 10th in the Championship. The players that this remind me of, people like John Lundstrom, for some reason, although I don't think he played in it very often. Ender Stevens, it kind of makes me think of him a bit. And Clayton Donaldson. I don't know why. I think, yeah, it just seemed to remind me of him. What do I like? I think the purple is a fantastic colour. I'd have really liked to have seen us actually get a purple version of the 2022 third shirt. 2020, yeah. That would have been really cool. I'll talk about that when we get to that kit, but I think the purple in this, very nice. A little bit beer shotty. Lovely. Again, it's one I don't own, although I really would like to. So any of the kits that I don't own in this video, if you do have them and you'd like to do a deal, get in touch. General dislikes, I think it's a bit simple. It is just essentially a purple shirt with a United badge stuck on it. I don't think they really put a lot of effort into this one. And the V-neck is like a little bit harsh. I don't know. I've not had one on, so I can't tell you how harsh it is. But yeah, V-necks can be very hit and miss. Overall, I'm rating this 4 out of 5 because there's not a lot I can dislike about it, and there's a fair bit that I can like about it. And then the 17-18 third shirt. Now, this was very, very unexpected. So the players this reminds me of, Paul Coots, George Baldock, and Mark Duffy for some reason. I think the first time we wore this was away at Nottingham Forest, and they didn't actually release this on general sale until there was a little bit of a fan campaign, and then I think 300 were released. So they are very expensive now to buy second hand. I think one actually did sell for $5,000, which is ridiculous. I don't think they'd sell for that now. But what do I like about it? I think it's a very, very classy kit. I think it's lovely. I love the stripes that go all the way down the sleeves. I think that's... You don't see that because UEFA dictate that isn't allowed. The fact it's also white, Sheffield United away kit, white is one of the colours in my criteria, my holy trinity of colours. And I also think the detailing is absolutely gorgeous. It's a lot like the 15-16 away in that it's got those details down the like the shimmer, if that makes sense. What do I dislike? The fact it was only sold in small numbers, and the fact I don't own one. That annoys me. And I also don't like how I know I mentioned that I like the stripes on the sleeves, but it kind of annoys me that they stop at the shoulder. Like, they could have just carried on to the neck. I think that would have probably looked even better. It'd have been very, very retro then if they'd have done that. So overall, I'm giving this 4 out of 5. Very, very respectable. So here we are with the 2018 to 2020 away shirt. Now, of course, it was carried over into the Premier League season, having been worn throughout the Championship promotion season. It was carried through as the third shirt for the Premier League season, and they had a slightly different sponsor on it, but I'll talk about that later. So, what does this shirt remind me of? Well, first of all, it reminds me of being promoted away at Stoke City. Of course, we knew we were pretty much up anyway, but we had to go and play Stoke. And I remember at the end of that game, I was there. All the players just fell over because they were absolutely shattered. But that's what, essentially, this is the shirt that we got promoted in, and I love it. Players that it reminds me of, Kieran Dowell, who was in the Championship season. I don't know why it kind of reminds me of him. I think it's because there's a lot of pictures of him wearing the shirt. And it reminds me of Ollie McBurney for his goal. I'm fairly sure we played Brighton and Hove Albion in this kit, and he scored there. Just kind of reminds me of that day. And Ben Osborne as well. I think there's quite a common image of him looking a bit damp playing away. I think that might have also been at Brighton away. I just think, yeah, those two players reminds me of that. I think the USG version of this shirt actually does look better than the Ramsden's Currencies version as well, which is probably why I'm thinking about that Premier League year. So what do I like? Well, it's fluorescent green. It's the lime green that we all know and love coming back. Any shirt in this colour is going to rate highly. I also really like the patterning. I like the crossing. I think the 18-19 goalkeeper's shirt actually had the same pattern, just it was more visible because I think it was black and red, so you could see it more. I also, yeah, as I said, the USG version of it looks fantastic. My only dislike of this shirt is the Ramsden's Currencies. Admittedly, it is better than on the home shirt because there's not the big white plate behind it. It is just black text. But yeah, again, Ramsden's Currency is a little bit dodgy. I feel like, yeah, not a massive fan of it. So overall, I'm going to give this 5 out of 5. I genuinely think this is one of the best, if not the best, Sheffield United away kit provided by Adidas. But the other ones that I'm going to list now, they are as good, if not better. Again, so I'm contradicting myself a fair bit there, but all I'm going to say is the next few are very good as well. But yeah, I do think that this is, if it's not the best, then it's up there, definitely. So here it is, the 1920 away shirt. This was the shirt designed for the Premier League, of course. First thing you go and do is get the Premier League badge stuck on it, and just very exciting times. I remember wearing this shirt pretty much constantly whilst I was on holiday in Mexico in the off-season. Loved it. So what players does this remind me of? Well, it reminds me of Callum Robinson, who I'm fairly sure scored in this shirt away at Chelsea. Good memories of that day. John Egan as well, for some reason, just reminds me of him. I'm fairly sure, yeah, he scored away at Burnley after Project Restart. Also reminds me of Ollie Norwood. Of course, the ghost goal was scored in this shirt. Ollie Norwood, corner. It goes in. The keeper drags it in. Goal line technology. Doesn't give it us. Aston Villa stay up by a point that they wouldn't have had goal technology worked. And then they proceeded to nick all of our signings that season. And then we went down. So, all went tits up, essentially. But we can't be too whingy. So what do I like about this shirt? Well, I really like the classy white. Again, white is one of those classic Sheffield United away colours. The patterning in this shirt's absolutely lovely. I love the red accenting on the collar and down the sides. I think the 3 stripes down the sides on an Adidas shirt looks quite cool. I also love the little blades lettering on the back of the shirt. I think that again looks absolutely lovely. Now, what do I dislike? Absolutely nothing about this shirt. I genuinely can't think of a single thing that I dislike about this shirt. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I do have a gripe about is it's a shame we never got to see this shirt teamed with the red shorts. So in a lot of the promotional pictures, there was this shirt on white shorts or this shirt and red shorts, and we never got to see us play in the red shorts, and I would have really liked to have seen that. Overall rating for this shirt, 5 out of 5. Can't be anything less. Absolutely lovely. One of the best, if not one of the best, if not the best. Like I said about the fluorescent one, it's so close between a few of them. I cannot possibly tell you. So here we are, again back at the Premier League relegation season, and this was the shirt that we were indeed relegated in away at Wolves. So, of course, we had Chris Wilder at the start of the season, and then Paul Heckingbottom took over halfway through. Players that this shirt reminds me of, well, Ampadu, again, only real, there's not a lot I can say about him. Phil Jagielka bizarrely, I think it's purely because he turned into prime Beckenbauer against Manchester United in this shirt. Of course, we did beat them 2-1 in this shirt, which was probably one of the most memorable games that season. And then the third player that this reminds me of is Keane Bryan, who of course scored in that game. Scored a header. I have no idea how we won that game with the squad that we put out. It was shocking. That starting 11 wouldn't even get a result in League One, you'd think, but somehow we managed to beat Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in Europe. So there we go. You can dream, essentially. Quite an inspirational story. So what do I like about this? Well, I like that it's sort of fluorescent. It's not one of the Sheffield United colours that you traditionally think of. It's pink, which is very controversial. I really like the grey accenting on like the stripes, the arms and the shorts. I think they all looked really cool. I also quite like the shadow pattern in this shirt. It's a bit like half camouflage, half leopard print. Sheffield Wednesday sort of ripped it off the next season, so all's well. I think we essentially swapped. They went from having a grey away shirt to us having a grey away shirt, and them having us having a pink away shirt, and them having a pink away shirt. So it was all very weird. But yeah, the overall dislike is the pink is a bit controversial, and I hate the clash between the red in the USG logo and the pink of the shirt, and also the red in the badge and the pink. If they'd have made it pink on the advert, I feel like that would have looked far better, like they did with the third shirt, which we'll look at in a minute. Overall, I'm going to rate this 3 out of 5. Fairly solid attempt. I still quite like this shirt, but I know a lot of people really, really hate it. And then here we are, moving on to the 2020-2022 third shirt. Now, of course, this was carried through from the Premier League season into the season afterwards in the Championship. However, we only wore it once and we lost to Bournemouth in it. So this shirt here has a 100% loss rate, which is an absolute travesty because I think it's gorgeous. So, the players that this shirt reminds me of, Sander Berge, David McGoldrick, who scored in this shirt against Arsenal, really good goal. And Ender Stevens, I think just the Irish connection with it being green. So what are my likes? Well, I like this gorgeous green colour, and I think the sand accenting and the USG logo being in the same sort of sand colour looks absolutely lovely. I also, as I said, the sponsor, I also really like that the badge is also in the green and sand. I think that those are all really, really classy touches, and generally I just think this shirt is class. What do I dislike? Minor gripe, but on the inside of the neck there's like a band, a black band, which can be quite irritating sometimes. I think the material's cut quite sharply, and it can be a little bit irritating. But generally, I think this is a really nice shirt. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. And the reason why it's so baggy on me is because this is a large, because unfortunately the club only did a very limited run of these shirts, and the large was the only thing I could get a hold of. And that is one of the reasons why there are a lot of fakes of this shirt. So if you are buying this second hand, do really, really be careful and check all the codes and things, because there are a lot of fakes around. And the fakes, most of them look awful, like you can spot a fake a mile off, but some of them are quite good. General things to look out for is the the bits in the USG logo are separate in the on the real one. Another thing to look out for is the shade on the sand. Sometimes on the fakes it can be a little bit too dark and it can look a bit more like wet sand, whereas I think on this version it looks more like dry sand, which is very odd, but you know what I mean. But yeah, generally be very careful when you're buying this shirt because there are a hell of a lot of fakes around. And then here we are at the last ever Sheffield United away shirt made by Adidas. Of course, this is the 2021-22 season, which is just finished and marks the end of the Adidas era. And by covering this shirt, it means I've now covered across 2 videos every single Adidas kit worn by Sheffield United. So, obviously, we lost to Forest on penalties in the playoff semi-final away at, I was going to say Trent Bridge then, not Trent Bridge. Where do they play nowadays? The City Ground. There we are. That took far too long to remember. So what are the players that this reminds me of? Well, of course, Iliman and Jai for his goal away at Fulham. Beautiful goal. Fantastic, really. Also, kind of reminds me of Rhian Brewster. Not really sure why. I don't think he did a lot in this shirt, but I feel like, yeah, definitely Rhian Brewster and Morgan Gibbs-White, of course. I think any shirt from this season is going to conjure up memories of that gorgeous boy. But yeah, what do I like about the shirt itself? I love the fact that the badge is also in black and silver. I really like the shadow sash. I coined that term this time last year. You can't actually see it on the camera, I don't think, unless I can get the lighting on it. But you'll see it in the renders and things. It has like a sash, which is a slightly different colour to the rest of the shirt. I really like the V-neck and the cuffs. I think they look really nice. The V-neck is actually very reminiscent of the 1920 away shirt, which is essentially the same colour, but in red and white rather than black and silver. I also really like the Blades badge on the back of the neck. I think that looks really, really gorgeous. And then the things I dislike, well, there's only really 2 things. The fact it's black. I mentioned at the very start of the video that black away kits are a bit, I'm not keen on them. They look like referees' kits, and it's quite nice actually that the Adidas era started with a black kit and ends with a black kit. That's quite nice and circular. I've not thought of that before. And I think the Randox logo is a little bit too big. But overall, my rating for this shirt is a solid 4 out of 5. It's overall alright.
Best away kit in United's history. Heard it here first.
But that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't seen the home version, do go and check it out. It's also very good. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.